Yeah, it's been a while. No, just I continue to be excited as the wide adoption of our identity resolution capabilities. They're now available over Pixel for a cookie and a cookieless resolution. So it's been doing very well and keeping us busy.
Yeah. I've been seeing that on my end with the leads coming into the CRM. It's like, ooh, I love it. There's more people signing up for OmniIQ. So glad to hear it from your end as well. So very exciting. And, it's another great day on Deconstructing Data because we get to talk to another really interesting guest who we were just chatting with backstage. So I know it's going to be a great discussion. So we're thrilled to welcome Outi Karppanen, lead marketing industry strategist at Supermetrics. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi there.
Yeah, thanks for being
Yeah, hi, Odie. Like you said, we were talking a little bit before, but can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your company?
Yeah, happy to do though. So, hi, I'm Outi, and I'm, as said, the lead marketing industry strategist at Supermetrics. And I would say quickly to those who might not know Supermetrics, I understand there might be people who don't know. We are a marketing intelligence platform. So, especially where we started is getting your data from A to B. But nowadays, obviously, you can manage your data, you can clean the data to a degree, and then you can activate it nowadays as well. But I joined Supermetrics about a year and a half ago, and I came from media agency background. So I have spent over 10 years in different media agencies, and I started in digital marketing. So I've actually created those Facebook campaigns and done influencer campaigns, and then I started to add on different media channels as well and got like experience in out of home and print. And I think that background led me to be a media strategist at Dentsu, which is the role where I came from to Supermetrics. And overall, I feel really lucky that I've been able to work at a smaller independent agency and then also at a large agency like Dentsu, because that has given me like very different experiences and working with different types of clients to then utilize now when I then joined Supermetrics. They contacted me. It was perfect timing, and I transitioned to this side of the table, like marketing technology side. And I was a user back in the day of Supermetrics, especially when I was a digital strategist. And I can't tell you how many hours I've saved in reporting by using Supermetrics instead of manually going into each platform and putting it into an Excel or something like that. So I was happy to go to a company where I knew the product already, and it's just evolved so much within the year and a half that I've been here and having fun. And I just help our employees, our sales, and everyone understand what's happening in the marketing industry. And I get to talk about Supermetrics and marketing, which I love.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. No, I was going to say the actual product is an aggregation of marketing data, basically, right?
Yeah. So at the core of it, where it especially started, and it was created in Helsinki, Finland in 2013, and it was a marketing ETL. So instead of individually grabbing the data from all the different platforms you have, with our tool, you could just collect that and push it to whatever destination you want. So is it a visualization tool? Is it a data warehouse, data lake? So you can choose where to push the data. Now we've added on more of the data management, analyzing the data, and activation of data as well. So going more towards a actual full workflow of marketing intelligence platform.
Nice.
Wow. So interesting. Well, let's dive into our first topic, which is marketing data overload, managing the mess. So,
Perfect segue.
yeah, exactly. So could you kick us off on this topic, Outi?
Yeah, I would love to. So we had this suspicion at Supermetrics, and we sort of knew from ourselves as well that marketing is quite messy. And we did a marketing data study and also looked at our tools usage. And we could see that the amount of data compared to 2020 has grown by 230% more. So there's the amount of data that goes through our tool is 230% more than it was 5 years ago. And I started back in digital quite a bit more a few years ago. I can't imagine what it was if we compare it to like 10 years ago. And it's not just more channels. We saw that it's more granular as well. So each query is more rows. So it's not just we've been adding, like getting new channels like TikTok, but it's just more and more data per each channel as well. And we saw that everyone's just drowning on the data. And great, everyone answered, yeah, we have dashboards. But then when we asked them, do they really have time to analyze it? 56% said that they don't actually have the time to thoroughly go through that data. So we were seeing this dilemma of marketers are just drowning in data and starving for insights.
Yeah, absolutely. We marketers are drowning in data, and half of it's not good data, which I know we'll talk about quality data later.
Well, yeah, I was just going to ask about that, but so basically, you transformed the typical life of a marketing person that's using Excel or Google Sheets or something like this, and doing their magic maybe on a daily basis in a manual fashion. You've
Yeah.
changed that to one-stop shopping basically for all of your marketing data.
Exactly that. So we are trying to help in that. And like we've been telling people, like, I think what marketers are falling into is that this idea of I need to gather all of the data because now I can. Like, yes, with us you can, but like you shouldn't. And what we actually are saying is that you should work the problems, like figure out what are your business KPIs, what they mean for marketing KPIs. Okay, what measurements do I need to do to prove that questions am I getting asked to prove how marketing is working? What data do I need to get for that? And obviously CMO wants certain levels of data, and if you're a creative optimizing person, you want certain sets of data. But like figuring that out and just getting the core of it. So don't be, I call them like data hoarders. I've been saying like you're like a dragon sitting on top of your pile of data that you just don't do anything with it because you don't have any time, and you're just like, this is all mine, I want it all.
Right. Basically, data at rest has no value. Basically, you need data to be moving or actionable.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, and that's exactly where, like, how to manage that mess is obviously what data do you gather. And then the second is also, I think, where AI can come and help. And like now, obviously, everything is about AI and agents, but that's exactly where I see that it can help is analyzing and bringing that data to be more accessible. Because sometimes it's about that it's in a format that not everyone can use. Because as a marketer, you might not be super technical, you might be to a degree, but like, do you know how to use certain visualization tool? If it's like more complicated, do you need to ask a data analyst? So AI and agentic stuff is bringing it a bit closer to that degree. And that's exactly where we're pushing as well. And we just hot off the press today, we're launching within this week. So any day now, tomorrow, Saturday, a agentic AI within Google's new Gemini Enterprise, which was known as Agent Space. So we're pushing more towards that, having that accessibility to data. So that's going to help manage the data overload of like having more of access and figuring out what do you need, work the problem.
But so would you say that your value add here is more than just ETL then, but maybe goes into best practices a little bit?
Yeah. So obviously it started with the ETL, but now we are helping our customers to manage the data, clean the data. What do they need to measure? How to structure it, and now giving also then the access to it. So because I think that's at the core of it. I see so many. It's like every time I needed to when I was working in a media agency, it's like I needed to create a report. I feel like I'm starting from zero again. Like, oh, I need to start this again and again, instead of just asking something.
And
Oh,
and to rethink it all over again. Yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. What about data governance? Does that how does that fit in with your product? Or is it
I think
part of your
that's
product?
at the core of it. Like, I've been preaching to everyone, like, you have to have your data governance in set. You have to have your naming conventions, your UTM settings, because if you don't have that, it's just chaos. And if I see someone starting a data warehouse project or data centralization project, and if they start from zero and not having any naming conventions or any settings, it's just like, well, you have a rocky hill up ahead to clean that data. So it's just that data governance is going to be more and more and more important. It's the least sort of sexy topic of marketing, but if you don't have it cleaned, you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know, like, what links to what. How can you prove what performed?
Yeah. What about? I'm sorry to keep asking all these questions, but what about the compliance aspect of it? I know with GDPR, Finland's in GDPR, and a lot of GDPR is used as the highest standard for a privacy and compliance. Does your product also help in being compliant with GDPR?
To a degree, yes. So obviously, we have a storage option, and that's also very compliant with GDPR. But if you don't want us to store your data, we don't actually touch your data. So it all just flows nicely through. So you don't have to, with us, be worried about the
Got it.
GDPR and all of that. So we are very protecting of your data, and we have servers in different regions as well, depending on, because we have global amount of customers. So wherever you want the data, well, not wherever, but if you need it to be in North America, that's possible as well.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
I love that. What were you going to say, DW?
No, I was going to say, do we have? I think we're supposed to get on to the next topic, which we've already kind of touched on a little bit. It's the AI marketing creativity powered by quality data.
Why don't you kick us off on this topic, actually, DW, because quality data is near and dear to our heart.
Yeah, years ago, we made the decision at BDEX we would only sell quality data, and it was nice getting that direction from the very top, from the CEO on down. We would rather not sell data, just for the sake of selling anything. So the question was always, sounds obvious, but what's quality data? How do we know that the data that we're getting is quality or is not obfuscated in some way, especially in enrichment scenarios? In identity resolution, particularly, there's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of just poor quality, and even other people in their attempt to clean it up mess it up. So it's like it's a real jungle out there. And we've managed to develop some methodologies along these lines, but I can imagine you've done similarly with at the Supermetrics, right, Outi?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, coming from the media agency background and working with a lot of different media tools and identity management tools, I think that's a perfect decision you guys have made, not to only have quality data, because I think it's like digital marketing is like a black box or a Pandora's box, that when you, at the surface of it, you're like, oh great, I got this many impressions, but then you start to actually dig around and you're just like, oh my god, what's under here? Like, oh my god, what, this is why this was so cheap and all of that. So I think that is very crucial to people to understand, and I think that helps with the what is quality data. Is like, you need to make the decision as a brand, as a marketer, of what's the level of quality you need it to be. Where we help, and what, like, I talk about is having that data and understanding it. So everything is being powered by quality data foundation. So obviously you can't know what's quality unless you have it and you can dig through it. And if you don't have any data, you can't do anything. And I think now more than ever, the age-old saying, garbage in, garbage out, is very crucial. It's like we're starting to talk about utilizing AI and machine language models and all of that, but what are you applying it to? If you're applying it to a bad set of data or incomplete data, that you're missing a few, like let's say you have digital marketing, but you're missing all of your offline media, you're making decisions based on that, you're missing out. And like, I have a story of I almost accidentally traveled. I was like, oh, I want to go to Asia in January because in Finland it's super cold. And I was like going to go to Thailand and north of Thailand. And I'm like, luckily I Googled what's the weather like. I almost ended up in somewhere that is cold and not the plus 30 I wanted to because I hadn't had incomplete data. So like, that's what I'm trying to preach to marketers is know your data, have it stored, know and own your data, and know what is the level of quality. And that's like where you guys especially can help.
Well, so how do you deal with these click farms? I suppose it's not really inside of the scope, but there's actually ad fraud out there. How do you guys deal with that at all, or you just let the client deal with it?
We don't touch it in a way. Like we just
Mhm.
pull all of your data that you want. But where I think what people sort of forget is that you can use data to monitor your data. So you can create use cases, you can create a dashboard to see any outliers. Like if you have a peak on your website, suddenly masses of sessions and visitors, and it's all coming from, like, let's say you don't do any advertising in China, but you're getting tons of traffic from there.
Or one IP address. Yeah.
Yeah, or one IP. Then you can be like, something's up. So to do that, you need to have that data. So that's where we help, but we don't, at the core of it, filter anything out. We give it to you as raw as you want it, so
Right.
that you
And then
can
you let
make the decisions.
You let your client then makes that call.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, I think where, like, I've been preaching about this now for about a year, like the concept of data foundation and owning it, and like the quality side of it. And I always say I could talk about it for hours, and we've had a webinar about data quality and like how to do that. But that's then, once you have that set, then you can get more creative. And if we go to the like AI marketing creativity, it's like you have your data sets, then you could start using, let's say, AI to analyze your images, your banners, your social media posts. Ask it to analyze the image. Did it have people or no? Did it have dogs, cats? Did it have a 50% discount or 20% discount or whatever? Did it have an orange background or a green background? And you can ask it to label the ads and then analyze the results. So then you can get deeper into what is actually performing besides your just, okay, it was this campaign. So you can go into like, okay, we see that ads with dogs perform better.
Okay, so it's like an A/B test, huh?
Yeah, but that's what it allows, when you can get all of that data in, the raw data, and then you can use, and within our tool, we have this thing called custom fields. I call it like a chef's pantry. Like you can do almost anything with it. Like your imagination is your limit. But one of the things is you can prompt an AI, and in this instance, it's Gemini. You can ask it to analyze the images and create labels to it. And you can do the same for text as well. Give it like, is it a positive? Is it a negative comment? You can translate the text. So there's a lot you can do when you have the raw data, and then you can enrich isn't the right word.
Learn. You can learn like if the ad is good with the dog. And it's funny you mentioned that, like, whether you can learn that like an ad performs better when there's a dog in it or something like that. Because I remember Michael, our chief data officer, one time telling me a story of a way we helped customer learn that their ads that had a dog in it performed well too. And I think it was a mattress company, and they were trying to understand why people bought online compared to in the store. And the only difference they could find is like if there was a dog in the ad, then they'd be more likely to buy online or something along those lines. But yeah, it's just funny.
Which is
Well,
often the like AI when you analyze it is it can tell you what, but it can't tell you why. And that's exactly where it's like that's the where it's sort of the limit is of what AI can tell you is it can't tell you why. Like you can't go and ask the consumer, why did you click this? Why did the dog work for you?
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember the story I'm talking about, DW, by chance?
I do. As a matter of fact, he went and did some tests along these lines as well. I guess I'll hear about that tomorrow when I meet with him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
You know,
cool.
because that's also one thing we do. We're very focused on making sure that our methodologies work for cleaning data for the segments that we create, and so we'll test our own data because not every client wants to tell us everything that's going on with their campaigns, and so we have our own campaigns just for the purpose of maintaining our quality.
But that's the like because often it would be the case that the is it the saying like cobbler like shoemaker's son doesn't have shoes. So in
Yeah,
businesses you all have your shoes.
exactly.
Yes.
Good example.
Yep,
Good.
definitely. Such a great topic. Anything else on data quality and AI marketing creativity either of you'd want to share?
I think for me it's just when I like it's AI marketing creativity, but I think where people often think about the marketing data is just using it for reporting. But like as I said, you can use it to analyze your creatives and like the actual images. And you can also, as I said, use the data to manage and check how good of a quality of data you have. So we have this, for example that we say is data quality monitoring. So you can have alerts if a campaign is missing naming conventions or missing or correct UTMs, because that's like if those are incorrect, you need to fix them ASAP because the data is already corrupt and then you need to fix it. But like you can create a dashboard that can like you could have it open and have alerts like a big red box of like these are the incorrectly named campaigns, and then you can go and be like, hey, go and fix it now.
Yeah, definitely.
I like your comment and about AI being really good at telling you what, but maybe not so good at telling you why.
Yeah.
I don't think, at least not now. We're not at the point where you can remove the human uh, oversight. From this whole process. Uh, I There was another person that we interviewed has a whole product built on AI. Even then, she said, we still need humans to make sure that it's not doing something crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's where I see, especially AI, like there's the glamorous generative AI that we keep talking, and like you can create the most amazing videos. But I want AI to help me with the mundane tasks. Like if it was my household, I would want it to do the laundry and like the dishes so that I can do the creative fun stuff. So it's the same. I think I use data to like munch on the AI to munch on the data, do analysis on that, and so that then I can do the more creative stuff. And that's also like my only concern with like the more we're getting into this AI and agentic and having access to all of this is like we all have experience in marketing and like handling data. So if we utilize AI, we can be like question it. We can be like, hey, is this actually true? Is what you're saying correct? Is this the right strategy, what you're suggesting? But if someone is now coming into the industry, will they know to question when they don't have the years of experience of actually hands-on doing it and learning from mistakes? And are you taking it are people going to take it as face value? That's obviously the more quality data we have, the more you can take it at face value. But
That's like learning math by using a calculator. Really, you didn't learn how to add or subtract on your own. If you started off with a calculator, it's a bit like that. So when you do push back on AI more than once, I've had it say, "Oh, you're absolutely right. I meant this," or I meant that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you have to be very careful.
I use it a lot to just be like a sparring partner or a tool, but then I end up making my own decisions based on it.
Right. Exactly. Very
Definitely.
cool.
I love that. Such great points there. One final topic before we get into tech stack is strategic data use. Anticipate, don't react. Oh man, I feel like don't react. You could use that in so many cases. And we are getting some. Well, I just want to let everyone know if you're listening. I see there's 5 of you on LinkedIn. Plug in your comments and questions. Let us know what industry we want to know what you're thinking as you're listening to us, and I can pull your comments up on the screen. But let's get into strategic data use. Anticipate, don't react. Can you kick us off, Outi?
Yes. So I very much feel, and I think we're going to do this for a while, even still, is we're mostly reacting to results. And the reality is sometimes we're reacting to 1 week, 1 month, 6-month old results when we're getting our results, and then we're doing action. So it's very slow motion. Obviously, some things need to be on a longer term decision making. You can't be making constant like, oh, let's change our brand every 5 minutes because on a whim. But this is where I think AI and all of those machine learning models can help bring, like, let's say, measurement, MMMs, and analyzing data more accessible and quicker and more real time, so that we can get into we're getting the results, and then we can utilize AI and all of that to get some prediction into it. So we can start anticipating what might happen. We can do scenario planning of, okay, if we do this, what could then happen? And that's the side where I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the industry. And obviously I've stepped away from media planning, but like I'm constantly looking what's happening, what are all the different agencies creating, what type of media planning tools there is in the industry, because that's just going to be now even more accessible to everyone, because we have all of that strategic data that we can use and model and do like AI predictions.
You said something earlier that caught my attention, but I decided I would wait till this section before bringing it back up. It was about return on investments and KPIs, things like
Yeah.
this. What are your success metrics? And I thought that was interesting to bring that up, because you have to know these things before you actually plan, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's if I don't know, like I'm normally based in Helsinki, but right now I'm in Milan and I just landed. And if I don't know anything, I just like get up and I don't know where I need to go from the airport and do anything. That's the same as you just like start making decisions without what is your KPIs. And all of that needs to come from your business goals and your business objectives and work it towards your marketing. Like, is the goal of it to build a brand, or is it now to get instant short-term sales? Like, do you have short-term, and you can have short-term goals and long-term goals, and like how do these affect each other? And I come from very much of a branding background, so like I really value brand marketing and see how it can impact in the long term. And for example, I've seen in the past examples where a huge brand started moving towards looking at short-term ROI and which media is bringing that, and pushing a lot of budget into the um, tactical Google search and Facebook and with discounts. And then we did an MMM and we saw just like the baseline going down with the same level as budget is going from branding to more tactical. And they were like slowly just killing the brand. You can't see it in the short term, but then you looked at a 3 years data and you're just like, oh, it doesn't look good.
Right.
So interesting.
So, yeah,
Go.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, so in order to, measure yourself, you have to have a holistic view of all your marketing activity and their results. And it sounds like Supermetrics actually allows you to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly where we help, is because obviously, like if you're starting measurement, you can start from last click attribution or any type of attribution, but that's mostly just digital. And if you also do offline media, you're missing out on a huge piece of what's that impact. So then you obviously go into MMM. And to do that, you need to have your data foundation and not just digital. And like we can also bring offline media in with our custom data import. And we're going to have something on that line, like if you have connectors that you need to build. So we can bring all of that, your data, and also bring your sales data and CRM data if you need that. And it makes sense so that then you can do your like 360 analysis, because you might be like, oh, radio, what effect will that have? But then you actually do some MMM and you see actually like, oh, that's bringing like in this target group or for this product, like it's performing super well. Like let's say our product is bought by truck drivers. They're listening to radio constantly.
Actually, I hear podcasts in general are doing very well recently.
That is one of the things. And imagine if you leave that out from your measurement plan and then you don't know. And you miss out on good podcasts that you could sponsor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like this one, if you're interested in sponsoring. No, I'm just kidding.
Shameless plug.
Strategic data use. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, this is a really great topic. I mean, I feel like I could think of so many different scenarios in marketing where it's good to anticipate and not react. I focus primarily in social media marketing, and there's a lot of things you have to anticipate there before reacting. When you're dealing with the public and you put things out there, but I love how it's like the same thing when you apply it to data, right? It can be messy, it can be unpredictable, because we're and data a lot of the time is just representing humans, and humans are inputting data, and there's just messy anyway. But no, I really like how you described not reacting, and like you just have to be more grounded. You have to come in and look at it, take a deep breath, remember what your original goal was.
Exactly.
I can't.
And I've been saying like obviously you need to make decisions. We call it like data informed decisions, not data driven, but data informed decisions. So let it be your inspiration. Do analyze it, see what's coming, because we're also biased. So we have our ideas of what's working. Let data show you if it is actually some other thing. But also, I've always said brand, like if you're in charge of if you're the CMO and you're in charge of the brand, you need to also trust your gut. You have a vision of what the brand is like. If you start just looking at data, start just looking at benchmark, start using just AI, it's all going to end up looking the same. At some point, then the human value of doing something different is going to perform better. So know what your brand is, know what you're doing, let data inform you where to go. But then if data is saying, oh, you should be doing radio, but your concept doesn't work for radio, don't do radio.
Yeah.
Like believe in yourself. It's like a human. It's like you know who you are. You wouldn't do something just because someone says you should be doing. Or at least you shouldn't.
I can't tell you how many projects I've seen teed up of any kind, marketing or otherwise, that yes, here's the goal. This is what we're going to do, and then the reporting on it is to be determined, literally.
Yeah.
It's TDV. We'll worry about that later. But then when it comes time, they're like, okay, so where's this data? It's all over the place. Oh, we actually didn't measure that one thing that was absolutely critical.
Yeah, and we start to think it afterwards, and then we're just lost at that point, and we don't have the data available anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And about exactly. So you wasted a lot of time, if you don't think about these things ahead of time. And what you said is about being data informed is absolutely critical. You can be in a meeting with 20 people. So what do you think is happening with this campaign? Let's say, without data, you have 21 opinions. I know it sounds funny, but you have 20 people, you have 21 opinions. How did that work? But then with data, the conversation changes from theories and arguments over theories, to the next steps of what to do. And so it's very helpful. That's
Totally.
been my experience.
And I love how you differentiated data-driven versus data-informed, because we don't want the data to make the decision, so that can make you think that the
Right.
data is making the decisions. There is a human who's being informed by the data to make the decisions.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly
That's
that.
a very good way of putting it.
Absolutely. And we've got AP in the comments. Hey AP, always great having you here. Let us know what questions, comments you might have. And then we got a question from someone who does SEO, and they're wanting to know from you, Outi, do you think SEO is dead?
It's not directly, but it is changing. So it's becoming more and more interesting with AI, because you're getting these like AI short, you're Googling something and you're not actually going into the website. But you need to optimize so that what you're saying, what you're putting out there to the world is becoming the default answer in any chat GPT, or if you're just Googling and getting the AI short version. So it's shifting on what it becomes. And I think now that everyone is using AI to create content, which is everyone does that, but like having that original, you're bringing something original out to the world, that's going to help you in that. So SEO is not dead. I think this is the same as, is TV dying, is radio
Like is
dying.
email dead? Is like, there's always these scare tactics. Yeah.
It's changing forms. It's moving. It's like programmatic buying used to be very like manual, and now it's just like, or Facebook buying. Now it's just algorithms, and you're just like, oh, put it there, and it does what it does. It's evolving.
Totally.
And I'm not an SEO expert, so. But
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything was what's the word? Probabilistic before. Now everything's deterministic. We can literally target the exact person that we're looking
So-
for. We're not just a group. And probability. Go ahead, DW.
No, I'm going to say, I guess the answer to Andrew is no, but.
No, but.
No,
Yeah.
comma, but.
But the only constant in marketing is that everything's changing.
It's the only constant.
in anything.
We think constant is change.
Yes, exactly. So no, that's a great topic. And before we run out of time, we need to make sure we hear about some of your favorite tools in your tech stack. This is something we ask all of our clients all of our guests who come on the show. We want to know, like, what tools are you using that are empowering your team?
Yeah, so I'm now very much in whole Google workspace. So I have been pushed into the land of Google's. So I'm in all Gmail, calendars, obviously, and Gemini. So I'm using Gemini a lot. And as I said, I'm using it to work as a sparring partner. So I might put in our research and few different presentations and what do I want to in my next speech talk about, and ask it to like, do you see patterns, or how to connect these two different presentations, or add this thing into it. And then based on that, I start working. So I use it so that in a way so that I don't start, the blank page syndrome, where you're just looking at an empty Word document and you need to start writing a novel and you're just like, I have nothing. I feel that it is easier to comment on something. So I use AI and Gemini in this instance to do that. But other than that, like a lot of the tools I use are obviously very SaaS sales. So we have like recording tools for meetings, which are really good. And it has like AI capabilities to analyze. So we have Gong, for example, that I use, and Slack, obviously. But if I think about if I was still at an agency, like, of course, I need to plug if like I would use Supermetrics. I did use Supermetrics. But I would also use that, any tool that you can have to get that marketing data and power up and build on top of your own internal tools. So if you have internal planning tools, can you beef it up with that marketing data? So that's what I would think if I was still at an agency and built that.
Beef it up, enrich it up, get that data nice and robust. Yeah, I love
on a
that.
personal level, I'm still what I'm looking for. I can't hype any product for this because I haven't found it. I've tested like 10. is I love to travel, so I would want to find a tool that helps me do the like planning, but on a like a not the most obvious suggestions, but like give me the hotel examples and all of that. But I'm still looking for the perfect tool. I haven't found. So if you know, if you have a tool that you love for travel planning, let me know.
No, I don't, but I have
But
used ChatGPT before to just ask for like suggestions.
I've got one. She's my wife. She plans all of our trips, so she's really good at it.
I think I just still love the like looking through and seeing like because I like these like little boutique hotels. I think it's just also the joy of just doing it, and that's
Yeah, like
where we need
like
to
the
have.
hotel, it has musical instruments everywhere, see stuff like that.
Yeah,
We do the same
exactly.
thing.
So
It's
cool.
awesome.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing the tools in your tech stack. And before we close, would you like to let listeners know how they can find you?
Yeah, so easiest obviously is from LinkedIn. I think there's maybe only two, Outi Karppanen. So you can find me on LinkedIn, or obviously if you head to supermetrics.com, you can most likely find, if you're like, oh my God, what was her name? Go into our blog. You'll see me. I've been posting a few blog posts there. But yeah, via supermetrics.com or then through LinkedIn by my name.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. This has been an excellent conversation.
Yeah, it's
Very
been
enlightening.
great. And I've been like, even though it's quite late here in Italy, but like I'm like, I can't go to sleep now. I have ideas. We need to solve marketing.
You're all fired up. Well, this has been an excellent conversation. Thank you so much for joining. And DW, it was great to have you back with us again, too.
Oh, it's always fun. Anytime you need me, I'm more than happy to jump on.
Amazing. That's we love having you as the backup here. I just put a QR code up on the screen for listeners as we wrap up if you want to scan it, or you can, if you're listening on podcast, just go to beatx.com and click on Talk to an Expert. But we want to invite you to get powered by BeatX. And, we have DW here. It's DW. So if there's anything you want to add, but I just want to say it has the industry leading identity graph in the trusted foundation, powering some of the top ad tech and MarTech platforms. You can see them on our website. We've got the brands listed. If you just go to our homepage, beatx.com. But our comprehensive identity resolution is driving results across multiple channels, from precision and ad targeting and website visitors to like direct mail, lead gen, turning anonymous website traffic into actionable customer insight. But whether you're trying to target your accuracy or improve your targeting accuracy or recover your abandoned carts, scale lead generation efforts, I'm sure DW, you could probably think of more things they could do with all of this, but we're delivering the most accurate identity resolution is really what it gets down to. So we're,
Yeah.
as you heard on the show, is eliminating bots and bad data. But yeah,
Mhm.
take it away, DW.
No, I was going to say that we decided to go with the API approach to enable other people to use our services however they want. And it's used currently, for instance, for live visits to a website. People will say, "Well, he hasn't been here before. Let's find out who that person is," and they'll get back information live, and any other information we can add to that if they want. So it's worked out pretty well. So that's where that whole concept of powered by BDEX comes from. It's like instead of trying to write applications for everybody to do exactly what they want, we let everybody write their applications, but use our data and use our APIs to achieve what they want to do.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, what I like about it too is that when you're working with our data, we've got 5,000 plus segments. It's not just like basic 3-column Excel sheet we're looking at here. This is like
Yeah.
you're getting a real quality data and a lot of information with it. But anyway, I digress. I could talk about BDX data all day long, but this has been a great episode, Outi, and I hope you enjoy your time in Milan. Thank you for staying up with us.
Thank you so much. It was really fun
Yeah.
and happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise, a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right, I'll close this out. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.